Again, welcome back, dear listeners, to another episode of Divine Discussions. Again, with your host, Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael. I'm excited to have you join me on today as we continue our journey with exploring the critical issues that shape our spiritual and social landscape of the day. In our last episode, we discussed breaking the divine glass ceiling, how patriarchy and religion has shaped society's views on female leadership. Today we are going to build on that conversation by focusing on how women's leadership is being amplified, both in spiritual communities and in broader social spaces. We'll explore the evolving role of women in leadership, the challenge they still face today, and how we can collectively support and empower future female leaders. This is a conversation about reclaiming power, finding our voices, and leading with the strength and wisdom that comes from deep spiritual grounding. So let's get into it. To begin, let's take a look at how spiritual women in leadership has evolved over time. Historically, as we discussed in our last episode, women have often been sidelined, silenced, or hushed in both religious and secular leadership roles due to patriarchal structures. However, there have always been trailblazers in every generation, women who defied societal norms to lead with courage and conviction. In the religious sphere, we have seen significant progress over the past few decades. Many denominations have begun to ordain and consecrate women, allowing them to serve as pastors, priests, and even bishops. This shift did not happen overnight. Anybody that has been in the struggle know this did not happen overnight. It was the result of tireless advocacy of women and men who believe in the inherent equality of all people. For example, in the Anglican Communion, the ordination of women began in the late 20th century and has since expanded, with women now serving as bishops in several countries. Similarly, in Reform Judaism, women have been ordained as rabbis since the 1970s. And today they hold a significant leadership roles within their respective communities. Now, in the secular world, women's leadership has also been going through and has seen remarkable growth. We've witnessed women ascending to the highest offices of government, leading Fortune 500 companies, and becoming influential voices in social movements. These advancements are not just milestones, they represent a fundamental shift in the way society views women in power. Now, however, despite this progress, challenges yet remains. Women leaders often face unique obstacles, including gender bias, double standards, and the constant pressures to prove themselves in ways that their male counterparts do not. But as we'll discuss today, these challenges also present opportunities for growth, resilience, and transformation. And so I want you to think about, just for a moment, all of those female leaders that you've known throughout your lifetime who have been resilient and have fought the good fight in advocacy for equality in ministry, in different movements. And we want to honor them and hold them in light today, thanking the Creator for those women who've gone before us, who have fought, and those men who have did the work to support their sisters, seeing the need for change. And that's what it's going to take. Men and women seeing the need for change, for equality, for more female voices to arise. It's going to take us all. Let's turn our attention to how women's leadership is being amplified within spiritual communities. While the progress we've seen is encouraging, the work is far from over. There's still a need to actively amplify women's voices and ensure that they are heard, respected, and valued in every spiritual context. One powerful example of this amplification is the rise of women-led spiritual movements that emphasize inclusivity, justice, and the sacred divine feminine. These movements are not just about women taking on traditional leadership roles. They're about redefining what leadership looks like in a spiritual context. Take, for instance, the work of organizations like Women of Spirit and Faith, which brings together women from diverse spiritual backgrounds for exploration, to explore the intersection of spirituality and leadership. These organizations create safe spaces where women can connect, share their wisdom, and develop their leadership potential in ways that honor their unique spiritual journeys. In addition to these movements, we see clergy women who are actively challenging traditional norms within their denominations. They are reinterpreting sacred texts, advocating for social justice, and creating inclusive spiritual communities where all voices are welcome. These women are not just leaders, they are visionaries, paving the way for a new kind of spiritual leadership that is more inclusive, compassionate, and just. But see, amplification isn't just about providing platforms for women who are already leaders. It's also about mentorship and support, about nurturing the next generation of women leaders who will carry on the work, the torch forward. Mentorship is crucial because it provides women with the guidance, encouragement, and resources they need to succeed in leadership roles. It also creates a legacy of leadership that can inspire and empower future generations. Now I want you to think about that. I want to emphasize on the importance of creating spaces where women can explore their spiritual leadership. This isn't just about ordaining more women or appointing them to leadership positions. It's about fostering an environment where women can bring their whole selves to their leadership roles, where they can lead from a place of authenticity, compassion, and spiritual depths. One way to do this is through spiritual formation programs that are specifically designed for women. These programs can provide women with the tools they need to develop their leadership skills, deepen their spiritual practices, and connect with other women who can share their journey. They can also offer a space for women to reflect on their unique experiences as leaders and explore how they can use their leadership to create positive changes in their communities. Another important aspect of amplifying women leadership is recognizing and honoring the diverse ways in which women lead. Not all leadership looks the same, and not all leaders fit the traditional mold. Some women lead through quiet wisdom, others lead through bold action. Some lead from the front, others lead from behind the scenes. All of these forms of leadership are valuable, and all of them deserve to be recognized and supported. By amplifying women's leadership in these ways, we can create a spiritual landscape that is more inclusive, more diverse, and more reflective of the full spectrum of the human experience. And in doing so, we can help create a world that is more just, more compassionate, and more in alignment with the values of love, equality, and peace that lie at the heart of all spiritual traditions. Now let's shift our focus for a moment to the secular realm, where women's leadership is equally vital and where amplification is just as necessary. In many ways, the challenges women face in their secular leadership are similar to those in the spiritual context. Gender biases, societal expectations, and the ever-present pressure to outperform men, to just be seen as equal. But as we've seen in recent years, women are rising to these challenges and to the occasion and breaking new ground in every field. One area where women's leadership is particularly crucial is in politics, as we see in our climate today. Around the world, women are stepping into political roles and bringing their unique perspectives to the table. Leaders like Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, who has been praised for her compassionate responses to crisis. Or Kamala Harris, who made history as the first female vice president of the United States of America and prayerfully the next president of the USA. This shows us what is possible when women's voices are amplified in the political arena. But it's not just about women who hold high offices. It's about women at all levels of political leadership. From local government officials to grassroots organizers, women are leading in ways that are transforming communities and challenging the status quo. Their leadership is often characterized by a focus on collaboration, community engagement, and a deep commitment to social justice. Another important area where women's leadership is also amplified and being amplified is in the corporate world. More and more companies are recognizing the value of having women in leadership positions, not just for the sake of diversity, but because women bring a different perspective, many different perspectives, and approaches that can lead to a better decision making and more initiative and innovative solutions. However, the corporate world is also where we see some of the most entrenched barriers to women in leadership. The gender pay gap, the lack of women in executive roles, and the glass ceiling are all issues that still need to be addressed today. Amplifying women's leadership in this context means not only advocating for more women in leadership roles, but also creating a corporate culture that truly values and supports women leaders. This is where the concept of allyship becomes critical. Men who are in leadership positions have a responsibility. All right, men, hear me. Brethren, you have a responsibility to use your privilege to support and uplift women in leadership. This means being aware of the biases that exist, challenging those biases that exist, and actively working to create a more inclusive environment. But not only that, challenging the status quo and the biases that exist, but even the biases that is within you, in the subconscious mind. That is the greatest battle. Because a lot of people outwardly have allyship for women in leadership, but deep within themselves, it only goes but so far. So it also means recognizing that women's leadership doesn't have to look like the traditional male leadership. Not forcing women who want to take leadership roles and who do take leadership roles to function how traditional male leadership functions. We've seen how that's gotten us so far. And so women often lead in ways that are more collaborative, more empathetic, and more focused on the well-being of the team. It's just not about the bottom line. These qualities are not weaknesses. They are strengths that can lead to a more effective and substantial leadership. When the divine feminine and the divine masculine marry each other and become as one and unified, it makes for great successful endeavors. By amplifying women leadership in secular spaces, we can help to create a world where leadership is not defined by gender, but by qualities and values that make for strong, compassionate, and effective leaders. As we've discussed, amplifying women's leadership is about more than just giving women a seat at the table. It's about creating the conditions for women to thrive as leaders so that we can support the next generation of female leaders. So think about this. What can we do to support the next generation of female leaders? How can we ensure that women not only have the opportunity to lead, but are fully empowered to do so? I'll offer you one key strategy is mentorship. Mentorship plays a critical role in developing leadership skills and building confidence. For women, having a mentor who understands the unique challenges they face can make all the difference. Mentors can offer guidance, share their experiences, and provide the encouragement needed to navigate the complexities of leadership. But mentorship isn't just about one-on-one relationships. It's also about creating networks of support. Women's leadership networks, professional associations, and peer mentoring groups can provide a community where women can connect, share resources, and support each other in their leadership journeys. Another important strategy is education and training. Leadership development programs that are specifically designed for women can provide the skills and the knowledge to succeed in leadership roles. These programs can address the unique challenges women face, such as a work-life balance, dealing with biases, and navigating male-dominated environments. In addition to formal education and training, women can benefit from opportunities for experiential learning. This might include leadership roles in community organizations, volunteer opportunities, or involvement in social movements. These experiences can help women build the skills and confidence they need to take on a more significant leadership roles in the future. It's also essential to create spaces where women can explore and develop their leadership potential in ways that align with their values and identities. For some women, this might mean leading in ways that are more collaborative, more inclusive, or more focused on social justice. For others, it might mean leading in ways that challenge traditional norms and push the boundaries of what leadership can look like. Finally, we must continue to advocate for policies that support women in leadership. This includes everything from promoting gender equity in the workplace to advocating for family-friendly policies that make it easier for women to balance work and family life. It also means challenging the systematic barriers that prevent women from advancing into leadership roles, such as the gender pay gap and the lack of access to leadership opportunities. By taking these steps, we can help to create a world where women are not only able to lead, but are empowered to lead in ways that are authentic, impactful, and transformative. Now, as we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. Amplifying women's leadership, whether in the spiritual or secular spaces, is not just about equality. It's about justice. It's about creating a world where everyone, regardless of gender, has the opportunity to lead, to contribute, and to make a difference. This work begins with each of us. It begins with us recognizing the value of women's leadership, challenging the biases that exist within ourselves and within our communities, and actively supporting women in our lives who are stepping into leadership roles. It's about listening to women's voices, honoring their experiences, and amplifying their contributions. It's about creating spaces where women can lead with authenticity, courage, and compassion. And it's about building a future where leadership is not defined by gender, but by the qualities and values that truly make for strong, effective, and just leaders. I hope today's session will empower you and inspire you. You know, sometimes when I think about women in leadership and male allies, you know, when I see a lot of flyers everywhere about this movement and that movement, or about this leadership conference and that leadership conference, or even flyers for revival or spiritual retreats or whatnot, I often look at the titles of the women and I look at the titles of the men. And I do that for a reason. And I often find it funny when I see a lot of titles, the higher up echelon titles, are all on the men, and the women are very, lower titles. Use, for example, I always find it strange when people say they believe in women leadership, but there are no women leaders at the high echelon and the executive positions. I noticed some flyers where all of the men are bishops and apostles, just to use an example, and all the women are either pastor, evangelists, or want to put the title mother on them. And to me, that shows me something when that's a repeat. That somebody, even if it's in their subconscious mind, in the woman or the men or in the collective, that people still believe that high leadership positions of power belong in a certain gender, male dominant, and the women should be subordinate, subjected to that power. But I want to encourage you that the creator of the universe, the divine source, have created all in equality, have created us all in the divine image. And by the divine's choosing, all have the capacity to lead, not just in managerial positions, but in head positions of leadership. And so I encourage every leader of every spiritual community to face their own biases. Look within yourself and see, how do you really feel about women in leadership? Not just in a secular sense, but also in a spiritual sense. Because if a woman come and give you guidance and wisdom and teach you or correct you, and something in you want to buff up, I want to let you know there's a bias there, maybe even in your subconscious, maybe not in your conscious, but in your subconscious, that you're not aware of, that you need to go dig out and you need to face some more shadow work. Because anybody, no matter their gender, if they're being sent to you with wisdom, understanding, correction, whatever it is, you should be able to take it. When you remove gender biases and other issues that you have, and you just want truth, you just want to be helped, you just want to be in the right path that's chosen for you by the divine, it doesn't matter who come to you, you will accept it. So I hope today's discussion has inspired you to think about how you can amplify women's leadership in your own community, whether that's in your spiritual community, your workplace, or your broader social circles. We all have a role to play in this work, and together we can create a world where all voices are heard, all contributions are valued, and all people have the opportunity to lead. I want to thank you for joining me today on Divine Discussions with your host, Chief Apostle Veronica Yisrael. And I look forward to continuing this important conversation in our next episode. For all of you thank you for that have joined, and if this episode has been a blessing to you and have touched your heart, and you want to help us see this continue to grow, we want you to consider giving a financial contribution. For those that would like to, the Cash App is pinned that you can give towards this effort, that we can continue to bring quality content and episodes to you on this podcast, that you might be able to continue to be enlightened and encouraged, and your consciousness expanded. I want to also encourage you to coming this Sunday at 4 p.m. to, if you would like to, and you are been searching for a digital New Thought spiritual community, well, your prayers have been answered, and I would like to invite you to the sanctuary, Soul Awakening Sanctuary, the Soul Awakening Sanctuary, where yours truly is, founder, senior minister, and spiritual leader. And our Sunday services, our Sunday Sacred Circle begins at 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoons. And coming Wednesday, September the 11th, we will begin our Soul Elevation sessions, which we will be beginning a 16-week course, which we will be talking about awakening the divine within, a journey through New Thought mysticism. So if you've been interested in New Thought teachings and the metaphysical understanding of the Bible, moving beyond just traditional religion and dogma, and really into spiritual understanding of the teachings of Yeshua, the master teacher, the great Jewish rabbi from the East. If you've been searching for a digital community to be a part of wherever you are in the world, I want to invite you to come and join us on Sundays at 4 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. We would love to have you. And so we want you to be encouraged. Register for our course that is coming up on next Wednesday. And if you would like more information on our spiritual community, you can inbox me on all social media platforms, and we'll be happy to reach out to you and get you the information that you need. All right, until next time, always know that we're sending love, peace, blessings, and light to each and every one of you. And always remember that the presence of God in me loves the presence of God in you. Until next time, peace be with you.